Good, Mitchell? Okay, we'd like to welcome Rory Mcilroy into the interview room, our 2025 champion at AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Rory, 27 victories on the PGA Tour, and I know walking down the 18th at Pebble Beach is a moment you'll remember for a long time. If we can get some comments on your victory.
Yeah, as much as I've hit, a couple of good tee shots down the 18th this week, I was excited to have a little bit of a cushion there, so I didn't have to hit driver again. So, I think, coming to the last hole at Pebble with a 3-shot lead and being able to enjoy it somewhat was really cool. It's been a great week for a lot of different reasons. Hole in one, playing Cyprus for the first time, obviously getting a win. It's been a really cool week, and obviously couldn't wish for a better start for my PGA Tour season. So I've been on a nice run of form since last fall. I've played some really good golf, and continued that into this year, and just obviously, as I said, just a great way to start the year.
Yeah, third time Rory has won in his season debut on the tour since 2021. We'll open it up to questions. Let's go with Ron, and then we'll go to Sean.
2 questions. I guess congratulations, first of all, but the significance of winning at Pebble, you certainly hear it with the major champs here. It's Nicklaus and Watson and Tiger, the pedigree of that. What does that mean to you? Why is that important to you?
Yeah, look, there's some venues in our game that just mean a little bit more than others, and that's probably to do with the history and the people that have won on those courses and what those people have meant to the game of golf. I've had a few close calls at St Andrews, which is another one of those important venues in our game. Augusta National being another one too. So to be able to get a win on one of those iconic venues is awesome. It's a very different test this week than what you would typically expect at a U.S. Open. So got to take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt. But I finally feel that my game can travel to any sort of golf course, in any conditions, in any setup, really. I feel like I'm a very well-rounded golfer, and I can adapt to whatever I need to adapt to. And I was able to show that this weekend, especially yesterday with those conditions.
If I could sneak in a related question, I think you're the first golfer in 20 years to reach 27 tour wins since Phil. What does that mean to you? Sort of how, as you get into your mid-30s, late 30s, how much do you think about history and sort of the significance of your career in the context of all-time greats?
Getting to that number is really cool. I think for me, it's even more meaningful that I don't really play a full schedule on the PGA Tour either. I split my time between here and the DP World Tour. I'm I think up over 40 or close to 40 worldwide wins, which is a pretty cool number. So, absolutely, 27 is a cool number on the PGA Tour, and hopefully I keep adding to that and break the 30 barrier at some point this year and keep going from there.
All right, let's go Sean, Doug, and then Gabby.
Sorry, I can't see you with that big trophy in the way. You talked a lot about the bogey-free rounds and the desire to shoot more of those. How do you actually go about it, whether changes to your swing, course management? How do you shoot more bogey-free rounds?
I think there's 2 parts to it. I think it's strategy. So it's hitting. Sorry, I'm going to move this. This is careful. I hate when my trophies get in the way. It's strategy. And picking more conservative targets at times, and maybe picking more conservative clubs off tees. But then I think the big thing is obviously short game as well. I've alluded to it this week a little bit. My short game last year was a little up and down. It was a little, I'd have a good week, then I'd have a bad week. there wasn't a ton of consistency in it. So, those are, the up and down on one, for example, today. It's a big up and down just to get things going. The up and down on 4, same sort of thing. So, yeah, it's 2 parts. It's the strategy, and I think every time that I'm a big admirer of Scotty's for a lot of different reasons, but every time I play with him, and I watch how he plays and how disciplined he is, it's a really cool thing to watch. And I've alluded to it this week, but honestly, just trying to take a little bit of a leaf out of his book.
I was going to ask too, how much have you reflected on Scotty, and how does that compare to how much you look at other players' game, and what impact has kind of that reflection on Scotty had on how you go about the game now?
Yeah, I think when one of your peers has the year like he had last year, and honestly the year like he had in 23 as well, you start to take notice at what is he doing, and what has made him or helped him separate himself from the rest of the field. And to me, those are the 2 big things that he does better than anyone else. And it takes a certain mindset to do that too. He's not, there's impulses that I have on the golf course that it looks like Scotty doesn't have. And I have to rein those in, and I have to try to be a little more disciplined about it. And that's what I'm trying to do.
All right, let's go Doug, and then Gabby, and then we'll go to Alan.
Really curious about this, being an iconic place. There's been lots of moments over the years of the wait on 18. And you had to wait maybe one good time playing behind Tom Kim. But what is that moment like when you've got time on your hands and the trophy in hand, the scenery and everything?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, because you can, I hit 5-iron off the tee, and I start to think to myself, could I hit a 5-iron in the water? Should I hit 6? Should I hit 7? But it was nice to have the time to stand there and just honestly look at one of the most beautiful holes in golf and enjoy it. Enjoy that stroll up 18, and not feel like there was too much pressure. Honestly, like halfway up 18, I was just rooting for Shane to make 4, so he would finish second on his own. So, but yeah, it was cool to be able to have that, and to share that with Harry as well. And there's a lot of people. It's I'm the one that's gets to come up here and do this, but there's a lot of people behind me, and it's nice to be able to share it with them too.
And secondly, everyone's going to talk about the drive on 14, which is nice to see you finally convert. But was there
Thanks,
another shot during the round that kind of told you that I'm in pretty good control here? Something you're
a few of the iron shots. The 6-iron out of the fairway bunker at 10, the 7-iron out of the 7-iron off the tee on 12. Those were 2 shots and even the little wedge I hit into 7. That was a tricky shot. That was a big one for me to make 2 there. But the wedge, the 6-iron, and the 7-iron were big.
All right, let's go Gabby, and then Alan.
Rory, we heard Xander, even after his wins last summer, talk about climbing this mountain towards the peak of Scotty Scheffler's reign right now. You've obviously taken a leaf out of his book from a strategy perspective, but how motivating is it to want to unseat Scotty as world number 1 right now for you?
Yeah, it's not about that. If it so happens that I get close to that, then that would be cool. But this is really about just trying to get the best out of myself, and that's really it. I know if I can play to my capabilities and do what I did out there today a little bit more, then the world rankings or the wins or whatever will really take care of themselves. I mean, yeah, Scotty is and has been the best player in our game for the last couple of years, and I feel like I've been close but just not quite there. But that's motivating. That's motivating to try to get the best out of myself and try to become the best player in the world again.
What does getting the most out of yourself mean to you?
Just doing the right things, doing the right things every day, being consistent, being disciplined, getting enough sleep, eating the right diet, doing the right amount of practice, recovering, making time for other interests in my life that can get me away from golf a little bit too. So, I think just all of that combined, but purely from a golf perspective, just doing the little things right each and every day, then, that adds up to some cool stuff.
All right, let's go to Alan and then Ted.
Rory, you said a couple minutes ago that you're finally a complete golfer. I'm wondering, when did you arrive at that, and what were the missing pieces?
Maybe I should have rephrased that. Maybe not finally a complete. I don't know if any of us should describe ourselves as complete, because that means there's nowhere left to go. There's no improvement left, and that's certainly not the case. But I just think more that my game can travel. I can win on different venues, different tests. Firm courses, soft courses, windy, calm, rain, long golf courses, short golf courses. I just anything that I feel is thrown my way in the game, I feel like I'm prepared to handle it. That's what I meant.
But is that something that you've discovered in the last few years?
I think so. I think it is. I think it comes with age. It comes with experience. Comes with a little bit of maturity. I feel like over the past few years I've been able to not get frustrated as easily at things that I can't control, whether it be the golf course or the conditions or things like that.
Thanks.
All right, let's go to the back. Ted.
Rory, what's the biggest challenge of getting back to your best on a consistent basis that you feel like, if I get over this hump, or is it mental, physical, all of the above?
I think it's a combination of everything. I think for me, it's always the mental side of it that probably is the biggest barrier between me being good and being great. For the most part, over the course of my career, I've had the physical attributes and hit the ball long and been able to do things that maybe some other guys aren't able to do. But it's sometimes been my mind or my thought process has held me back a little bit. But again, just going back to what Alan was saying, I think I'm much better equipped now to handle whatever is thrown my way.
All right, over on the left, Ryan.
Rory, on your interview on the green, you mentioned that you said to Harry coming up 18, start as you mean to go on. I was wondering if you could expand on that and what that means to you and Harry.
Yeah, exactly what I said. This is the start of the season, and I got a win pretty early and pretty convincingly, and that's what I want to continue to do.
All right, take a few more, Sean.
There were some frustrating losses last year, being separated from them a little bit by time now. What do you feel like you've reflected on those, and what makes you optimistic for this year?
Look, the one that I'll come back to is the U.S. Open, because it's the one that, hurt the most. Again, thinking of strategy and maybe those impulses that I talked about, and hitting the right shot at the right time, or being in a different place mentally, calming yourself down, using breathing exercises, whatever it is. I think the one thing that I did today really well is I didn't get too flustered. And it may, it certainly feels a little more boring to me. It might look a little bit more boring on the golf course, but it's definitely more effective. So that's something that I'm, consciously trying to do a little bit better of a job at, and today was a good test, and I was able to come through it pretty well.
All right, we'll wrap it up here with Doug.
If you didn't have those impulses earlier in your career, would you be the same player? Feels like
yeah, that's the thing. It's I think if I didn't have the same impulses, people maybe wouldn't like to watch me play as much, if that makes sense. Like I do feel that connection to the crowd of hitting certain shots or doing certain things that people I get enjoyment out of them too, but people watching get enjoyment out of it also. But I also understand that maybe isn't the best way to consistently win golf tournaments. And at this point in my career, that's what I want to do. I want to consistently win golf tournaments. And 10 years ago with a 3-shot lead on the 18th hole here, would I hit 5-iron off the tee? Probably not. But just understanding the scenario and what I needed to do, it was a different case today.
Any other temptations today?
Yeah, there was a couple. Driver on 4 maybe to get it up there. Driver on 11. I laid back both times. Driver on 15 as well to get it up there, but with the front pin, I thought I would maybe get it too close. But yeah, I definitely made some more conservative choices off the tee.
And lastly, for me, things you want to accomplish before you're done and dusted in this game. Some of them are obvious tournaments, but do you think more in terms of specific events, or do you think numbers at all?
No, I've always felt like I'll play for as long as I want to play and as hard as I want to play, and whatever the numbers add up to, they'll add up to. But to me, there's specific things in specific tournaments that I'd love to have on my CV when it's all said and done.
All right, Rory, congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Yep.